Okay, so before we start to dive into Python, let's talk about the Python language a little bit itself, where it comes from. Python was invented at the end of the 80s by Guido von Rossum, and it became very soon a very popular language for scientific applications, and basically in the last few decades I would say it became the de facto standard script language for scientific applications. It is a very huge community, which is quite good, because that means that there are a lot of libraries, very well written libraries, and a lot of tools which we can use already out of the box without having to write them ourselves. Very important to know about Python, that Python is an interpreted language. That means that every line you write is turned into machine instructions on the fly when the Python interpreter executes that single line. This is in contrast to other languages, the so-called compiled languages, which are using a compiler first to turn the program or the entire program into machine instructions, and then you can execute it. Why is it an interpreted language good? Because usually it enables you, and that's definitely true for Python, fast development, because you have to write less code in order to formulate an algorithm. So basically it allows you a faster pace of development. On the other hand, the code itself, when you execute it, is often much slower than compiled languages. The good news for us is that if we have parts which are performance critical, there are ways how to speed them up in Python, or even to write them in other compiled languages, which are used in science a lot, especially in C++ and in Fortran. And then you can code those parts in those two languages and combine with Python. If you use Python 3, which is the actual version of Python, with the actively developed version of Python, there had been in earlier times a Python 2 version, but this is deprecated and was not supported. You just should know that it had been existed, but of course every new project nowadays is written in Python 3. If you want to learn Python outside of this course, you have very different alternatives. Of course, you can consult the internet, like you can consult the official Python documentation, or you can, for example, have a look at the real Python site, where you have Python, very nice Python tutorials, and then I really recommend it to have a look at that, because for very diverse topics you find very good tutorials there. For more advanced programmers, a dive into Python site contains very nice topics and very well written chapters on some advanced topics in Python programming, but of course you can use any other resources in the internet you find. Of course, there are also books about Python, a lot of them, and just grab any kind of book you can find and you find useful for you. I would like to mention that I found the books by M. Lutz, Learning Python and Programming in Python, very useful. They are maybe contain fast too much details, but you basically can get almost all information about Python in this book. And also recently I found a book from by Fluent Python quite nicely. It again, it's more for advanced programmers, so it doesn't covers the basics, but more some advanced topics in Python.